Good morning. It's your daily dose of complete health with your local chiropractor, Patrick Hogg. This week, I've seemed to have obtained a few clients from different places. However, many of them have got a very similar story in the sense that they've got a problem that they've maybe not considered to be that bad and therefore haven't taken the appropriate action in order to resolve the issue. Now, some of these people have actually seen other practitioners, which always terrifies me when someone has seen practitioners, and then when you examine it, you realize to what scale the problem actually is, which also means you realize to what scale someone actually missed a problem. So I've had a few clients coming in, like I say, what they consider minimal problems. They've noticed some problems with their posture, they're getting some aches and pains. But actually there was one particular client that when I started doing the examination with her, she physically wouldn't move in one direction. She was like, I won't move that way. Don't ask me to do it because I know my back will go. Now, this to me is one of those really good moments in practice where you kind of realize that patients don't necessarily always tell you the full truth. They'll minimize the problem in order to try and justify in their head why they're not necessarily solving it. Now, this is both not that helpful for the practitioner, but also not particularly helpful for the patient, because by minimizing your problems and actually talking them down and actually making them seem less severe than what they might be, makes it more difficult for you as a person to then justify correcting it. But then also as a practitioner, it makes it much more difficult for you to understand the problem of what's going on. So interestingly, I had a person that was minimizing a problem. And when we went to do her examination, her neurological tests showed me that there was some quite severe changes in her reflexes, her muscle strength, and her senses, which essentially tells us that there's problems with her nerves. So we decided to do some imaging on the spine. Now, despite the fact that she's telling me that the problems are not that big, there's quite moderate to severe degeneration in her spine for someone her age, which, like I say, had some of these people that I've seen this week that have had these kinds of problems, that have minimized problems and told me about them, have seen other practitioners before they've seen me, which likely means they've minimized the problem once before, or they've not justified actually correcting it at the time, which, like so many things, if we put them off, guess what happens? They become a much bigger problem. Now, if I just used a really simple example, if you had a leak under your sink, you can put a bucket there, but if you just ignored it, if you just ignored the leak under your sink, for a week, it probably wouldn't make any problems. For a month, you might start to notice some damp in the cupboards. After 2 or 3 months, you might start to notice the wood in your cupboard starts to split. After 5 to 6 months, you see the point of where I'm going is that by minimizing and not actually addressing the issue, or not actually just understanding that there is an issue there and accepting it, you are offsetting and potentially allowing for a problem to get bigger. And I can think of a very prime example, and unfortunately I had to live this one. My mum was very good at minimizing problems, and when she spoke to her doctor about her symptoms, she minimized those problems a lot. And unfortunately, she had bowel cancer. By not catching those things early enough, it can then obviously lead to much bigger problems, as it did in my mum's case. So just know, do not offset, because by offsetting, you're potentially creating a bigger problem. Do not minimize. Make sure you explain to your practitioners exactly what's going on, because by minimizing things, the only person you're detrimenting is yourself. So just understand your issues, speak to someone about them, and get them sorted as quickly as possible, because the quicker you sort them, the easier they are to fix. Patrick here from Complete Health, and this is your daily dose. We'll speak to you again very soon. Take care for now.